All right, guys, the candy mixture is done, and we're going to let it rest for 2 to 3 minutes so the bubbles can subside and we can start dipping our apples. Okay, I like to let it sit and wait. I took it off at exactly 300 degrees. I have my apples here. What you can do while you're waiting is prep yourself. I already have my apples sitting here waiting to be dipped. You can wipe them down again. That's what I do before I dip. I'll take my cloth, wipe them down. I prep my area. Right now I have a piece of parchment paper down here that I put a little cooking spray on so it doesn't stick. Don't use wax paper. Make sure it's parchment paper, okay? This is enough room so I can space out my apples so they don't touch each other, because you know if they touch they will stick and it will ruin the apple. You don't want that to happen. So give yourself enough space and room to put your apples down, okay? Make sure you prep your apples. Make sure your apples are clean. Get the wax off of them. Everybody has their own method of doing it. I have a couple videos posted on how I do it. I like to put it into the water, the boiling water, and then I take it out and I wipe them down and I let them sit for 2 to 3 days. At least 2 days, sometimes 3, but at least 2 days. Let them sit so that they're dry, so that they're ready to be dipped, okay? You want all that wax off, but you want dry apples, because if your apples are not dry, you will get holes in them, okay? And our bubbles have calmed down, but I still like to wait, okay? So a few more seconds. It's not gonna hurt anybody, and then we can get to dipping, because once you let it settle, it also starts to thicken up a little bit, so you get a nice coating on your apple, okay? Don't rush to just start dipping. Let it sit, let it rest, let it thicken up, let the bubbles subside, so you get a nice, pretty candy coating on your apples, okay? I'm only doing 6 apples right now. I only have to do 6 with the yellow color, so I'm not, you know, trying to dip real fast. If I have to do more, 2 minutes, and I start dipping, because, you know, the longer you let it sit, the thicker it gets, and then you have to reheat it. And I don't like to reheat it. I like to just keep going, all right? So remember, this is the second part of the yellow apples. Watch the first part so you can see how I made the candy mixture. I used 1 cup of water, a half a cup of light corn syrup, and 3 cups of sugar. I put in 1.5 teaspoons of the bright white soft gel paste, and I put in 2 drops to make this color yellow. If you want it darker, add more drops. But put your white in first, so this way you can control the color, okay? And put a drop at a time so you can get the color that you want. All right? So now we're going to start dipping. So you want to take your pot, lean it to the side so that all the mixture comes to the side, because you want your apple to be fully covered. Coat the whole thing, okay? You want your whole apple coated. See? You want it closed. You want that top closed up. And we're gonna dip and dip. See? You close that whole top. Make sure that apple is closed. Alright? And that protects your apple. It makes it last longer. If you have that open in there, the sugar is going to start to break down on your apple faster. Shake off the excess and run it along the edge so that you don't have that big puddle at the bottom of your apples. Okay? Dip. Make sure it's fully coated. Shake off the excess candy. Scrape it along the side so you get rid of that dip, that puddle, and you just keep dipping. If you just keep dipping, you could dip a lot of apples, okay? You just got to keep going. You got to find your rhythm. Find your rhythm. And if you're just starting out, you're going to make mistakes. Lord knows I made them. And it's okay. You got to find your niche. I messed up plenty of apples before I got it. So don't you worry if you don't get it the first time. Shake it off, run it across, and sit your apple down. Last one. And there we go. Our last apple. And see, my candy mixture is still soft. I could dip more apples, but I don't have to. This is why I only made the small batch. I didn't use the other one because I don't like to waste stuff. Okay. All right. Now we're done with our apples. And there they go. Pretty, pretty candy apples. Now, what I'm going to do to these, I'm going to drizzle on these. I'm going to put the drizzle on them. Okay? And I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to take my silicone little spatula. Okay? And what I do is I take the apple. Let me move it back so you guys can see. I take the apple, I dip it in, and I go back and forth along the apple. Right. Go back and forth along the apple. And it puts a little pretty design on them. And then I go this way, up and down, like this. Just turn your apple and go the opposite way. And you end up with this. So pretty. Make sure you do the top. Go around the top. Okay. Super, super pretty. Go across. It's just a quick up and down motion. Then go the opposite way. And you're just turning your apple as you do it. And then you go across the top. And you turn your apple as you're doing it. Okay. Up and down this way. And you just turn your apple. And then you do it the opposite way. And then you get the top. Turn your apple around. Alright.
Just like little webs, but they're drizzles.
Up and down. Going across the apple. And then we're going to go up and down. Cross, cross, cross. Now we're going to go up and down. And then we're going to hit the top. Okay. Across the apple. Now we're going to go up and down. And then we're going to hit the top. You just spin it as you drizzle. One more, our last apple. Across. And if you just want to leave it this way, going across, you don't have to go up and down. Hit that top and see how that looks. That's cute too. You go up and down. You can make any design you want. And we already hit that top. Okay? Here are the apples. How pretty are those? Super, super cute. And these are pineapple flavored.
Yeah.
candy coated yellow apples.